Good evening. Hello, 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 and welcome to You, Me, and the Trinity's Christ Connections and Conversations. It is me, your favorite cousin, auntie, sister, friend, Coach Ebony Lachelle, 1/3 of You, Me, and the Trinity. Um, Elder Kim is not on tonight, but we are going to keep it pushing. So I'll let our other resident coach greet the people.
What's good, family? Man, it is I am he. I'm your boy, your friend, your cousin, your neighbor, just that good guy to know from the city of the Dirty 31. Happy birthday, Detroit, 313 all the way. Um, I'm glad we're here. I'm glad that Coach Ebony could be here with us tonight. Missing our other sister, Elder Kim, who's away for a minute, but hopefully she'll be back on our next show. This show, man, is going to be something very interesting. This is Mind of a Man. This is something that women don't really like to listen and join in on because we kind of tell it the way we feel it, and we're not saying that we're always right. We're not saying we're always wrong. We do have opinions, and tonight you're definitely going to hear from all of us, man. So I'm going to let these guys introduce themselves first. I'm going to let Pratt go first, and then we just going to follow up and go from left to or to left, or whoever want to go after Pratt.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Minister Jeremy Pratt from Alabama. Just glad to be here. I'm glad they invited me back after I don't know how many shows, but we ain't gonna talk about that tonight. But I'm just glad to be here. So let's have fun, guys.
We starting off with Shay, little brother.
I love you.
Shots fired.
Starting off with Shay. Oh.
Good evening. I'm Brother Tahan Carter from Montgomery, Alabama, but currently here in Charlotte, North Carolina. Great, happy to be here as well.
Hey people, I'm Just Jay. You know the vibes. You know the vibes. That's it. That's all I got.
Hey guys, my name is Jeremiah Jackson. I'm from Beaumont, Texas, and I'm grateful to be chime in on this conversation.
Thank you, gentlemen. Even though some of y'all were shady. But
Yeah, you ain't gonna be taking shots at my sister. I was waiting till everybody finished introducing themselves. You ain't been here in a while. It'll be a while before you come back. You ain't gonna do that. You ain't gonna do it.
What I
thank
got to
you.
say to you, I'm not gonna say on this here live show. So we'll see each other in my office
That,
later on.
that's
Wait a
that's all
second.
right. Cause I
It'll be
will have an
2027,
answer
and that's
back.
the time you get like, oh,
Oh my goodness. I love y'all so much.
I know
Y'all
how to
so
answer
funny.
back.
So let's get into managing manhood. I wanna pose one simple question. What is something that you wish your father told you?
Ooh.
Oh man.
Oh Lord.
It's
Look,
chicken people.
anybody can go
Oh,
first.
I think for me, I wish I would have heard it way before I got married, but the greatest investment a man can make is a woman, and sometimes you don't realize that until that first investment is wrong, and sometimes that second investment is wrong, you know. But I truly think that if he would have told me that a long time ago, I would have been more prepared, especially with my very first marriage.
Okay.
Mr. Jackson.
I go. I probably wish uh, my dad would have said, "I love you more." I don't ever recall my dad saying that. If he did, I don't recall it. So I wish my dad was more affectionate in that way. That's what I would say.
Okay.
Mm.
Grogan.
I wish my dad would have been there to tell me something.
Okay, Pratt.
I would say what Jackson said. I wish I had heard "I love you" more. Like he said, I can't recall, you know, a time where I heard "I love you." I may have heard it maybe a handful of times in 32 years. I've always heard I was proud of you, good job, but never heard the "I love you" as much as any other child.
Okay.
Um, what I wish I would have heard my dad say, yeah, just be right in all you do. Um, out of seven, and all seven come from the same. I got siblings that I haven't even met yet. Uh, and one of the things when he did apologize to me, I think I was like 27. He apologized for not being there. That took a load off, but the simple fact was saying just be right. He was like, I, I love you, son, and I'm proud of you, but it was just be right. He didn't say that until I was well in my late 20s. And I'm like, crap, I would have did a couple of things that I did already. Would have told me, kind of just be right in all you're doing.
Okay.
So can I kind of, before we move on too fast, say
Mhm.
there was something Jonathan said just now that so um my dad didn't come back into my life until I was 20. Um yeah, about 20. I'm 30 now. Mind you, he came back when I was 20. I'm 30. Just 3 years ago, I'm finding out I got two younger siblings. Grown siblings, by the way. Like my sister has three children, four children, living in Texas. My brother is he has a child now. I don't know how old he is, but he's grown. I never even knew. Um, and probably for the first time in my 20 something years, I want to say it was my second year anniversary as pastor of First Baptist. He said, "Son, I'm real proud of you and what you're doing." Um, Coming from my dad, that meant a lot. From my dad, who had not been around, that meant a lot. Um, but I mean, I can't necessarily answer this question of what do I wish he would have said more when I didn't hear you say anything for 20 something years, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
That's it. That's all I got. I'm done.
Okay. All right. Anybody else want to comment on something before we move on? Okay. Uh, General question. When you hear people say, man up and be a man, what emotions or thoughts does that invoke for you?
I would say it does trigger me sometimes because my mom and dad divorced when I was um they started divorce when I was in like the fourth grade. And so other men were in my life showing me how to be a man. And it's still some things that I don't know that I'm still out here learning myself. So that's kind of a trigger to, hear people say, be a man, be a man. Well, how can I be a man if the man that helped bring me in this world didn't show me? Now, my dad, he was a workaholic, still is. Can't get him to retire. And that's all I know is work, work, work. And I had to learn, even in my first marriage, that I needed to do something other than work. Being a provider was good, but you miss out on a whole lot of stuff. And because my dad worked, it's now that I'm older, because he missed stuff when I was younger that I really don't tell him about or invite him to.
Okay.
Carter?
To
I,
to
I,
all right, go ahead, Jelly.
no, go ahead.
To me, that um, statement uh, can be kind of harsh. It can be kind of offensive, and to me, it reminds me of something my grandpa would say. Um, Grow up and be a man. Well, I think when you say that, I think you have to be considerate and sensitive to the person that you're saying it to, um, because you don't know the dynamic of that individual. What I mean by that is, I mean, how can you be a man if you've never saw one? You know, so I think that statement reminds me of a traditional, um, homophobic person. Because to tell me to be a man, what are you implying? What are you insinuating? So when I hear um, statements like that, to be honest, that just shows me who I'm not going to be around. That's just how I
Um,
look at it.
I kind of feel like Jeremiah because, um, and I was gonna say for me, it kind of causes me to create a wall with people when they say that because the men around me that said it or that I heard say it, your version of being a man is being a plumber, if you catch my drift. And if you don't, you'll catch it after this show is over. How to be a plumber, work yourself to death,
Oh my God.
and drink until the sun comes up. So you get that, and then you get somebody like me who's being raised by their great grandmother, and she's a cook. And so my forte is knowing how to be in the kitchen. I know how to cook. And you telling me things like, "Oh, get out of the kitchen. You got to be a man." Well, hell, truth be told, 90% of South Louisiana men are better cooks than women. It's just a thing because most of us are raised by grandmothers, so we just know how to cook. So that was that dynamic for me, and so to hear it, it was like, what are you trying to imply? What 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 is it that either you see in yourself through something I'm doing that you're insecure with, or what is it that you feel like you missed out on as a child that you didn't get enough of? Excuse me.
Bless you.
That thing is whipping me. Nah, that was a cough, but thank you. um,
Sorry.
um, I'm in there because I think I got another one. But that's kind of, I kind of feel along the same lines of what Jeremiah said. It'll kind of just be one to ask the question, what the hell you mean be a man?
What's the prison?
Be a man.
I agree.
Anybody
I
else?
think for me, it has to be. It doesn't trigger me until I realize who it's coming from. Because when I hear that, it instantly make me say, "Well, thank you for the example," or "I haven't seen the example." Because I mean, as men, we're gonna always learn until they lower us in our casket. I think it's gonna always be harder for me to hear that come from a woman because I'm not going to know what formed her model of a man. And likewise, when I hear a man say it, I'm hoping that he's in a position to have cut some paths that I want to travel down. Because I think at the end of the day, um, we will take from different people what a man looks like and what it is when somebody said be a man.
Okay. Um, I'm gonna steer the conversation a different way. So, what is a value that women think is important to men, but really isn't?
Oh, I'm back. I'm back for that one. That's a good question. I'm back for that one. Please say it one more time for the people so that they can
What
hear it. I'll wait on for this one
what
first.
what is a value that women think is important to men, but really isn't?
What is a value that women think is important to men, but really is not?
Mm-hmm.
Now, now, the only thing you got to do is just hear me the first time. That's it. That's it. That's it. When I say that, um, I ain't ever been partial with words, and I think y'all know that by now. So when I say what I say, I mean what I say, right?
Uh-huh.
That's it. So if I've already said, um, I don't want to use this as an example because it's actually a recent example, but I might have to. Um, I'm gonna go ahead and only use it. I don't care. I was sick this week.
You still see, we can
I'm
tell.
still I'm still fighting something. Yesterday was my first day up out of my room, out of the bed, kind of managing in my office. And someone came to my office door and said, um, "Are you going to go lay back down in the bed?" And I said, "Well, it just depends, but why?" "Oh, because I was going to strip the bed and wash your linens." "Okay, strip the bed and wash your linens." I'm going back to what I was doing. Then come back 3 times, asking me the same question. Don't. You don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. That's not valuable to me. I appreciate you just hearing me the first time. I'm not one that like to reiterate or repeat myself. So me having to repeat myself about something that I've already answered, that that will drive me insane. That would drive. And this is not me saying because I know a certain somebody is watching. Janatica, I know she gonna watch this. She gonna say, so you won't reassure your person you with, whatever. This is not me saying that I won't give reassurance. This is me saying I'm constantly reiterating myself about the same question or the same statement or the same whatever may be. Please don't make me do that.
Okay, so it wasn't valuable that they were gonna wash the sheets while you was up.
No, that's not what I meant. That's not what I meant. If I said yes, go ahead and do it, why you done came back 3, 4 times asking me something about why I just said yes about what I just said yes about.
Okay,
That's what I meant.
but You still ain't answer my question. Cause out of that, what value did you think she thought was important that you thought would?
I guess reiterating herself. I don't know.
Okay, so let me put so
Maybe I
oh
just needed that moment to vent, but
yeah, and I'm gonna talk to you about that offline. Yeah,
um,
yeah. Okay, but gentlemen, so for women, a lot of women, there are a lot of black educated women who very much take pride in the fact that they have gone and gotten, bachelor's, master's, doctorate certifications and all of that. So they feel that that is important. As an example, is that important? So women think that's important. Do you think that's important? Does she need to be educated?
Yeah, I mean, I think that goes. You know, she needs to be educated. I think for me personally, um, as a man, I don't think that I need to know your resume.
Okay.
Because I think that your resume, especially depending upon if it's not coming from a good place, it can be weaponized.
Mm-hmm.
Because we can be educated and make mistakes. We can be saved, sanctified, all of that stuff, and still make the wrong decisions. And so, from a gender perspective, though your resume is factual, it can still be used to beat somebody down.
Okay. Okay.
see, that was unfair because you didn't give me an example.
I asked you,
Now,
my brother,
now
I
that
asked you about the
I
value.
know what you meant, now that I know what you mean, now that I know what you mean, ma'am, I don't care nothing about your degrees. Do you have common sense?
He's not lying though. That the crazy thing is he's not lying because I Miss Carter, yeah, you on the head. A lot of women think because they have these X's and O's behind their name and stuff, or they got this money, or they didn't build this, like he said, a resume and stuff that qualifies them to be a top tier woman. It
Right.
it really don't.
Exactly.
It really don't because there's some women who got all that and it's about as dumb as a bump on the log.
And
Hmm.
their attitudes are crappy.
And they attitude crappy and they weave is nappy.
Mighty
Mm,
God.
Hey,
mm,
I
mm.
felt that in my shana. I felt that in my itarabo. Here, this is my thing. Can we work together?
Right.
Can we build together?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Um, I I think I mean education as high school is expensive, right? And um, everybody is not fortunate to go to school and get a degree. I'm a stickler for education. I'm a stickler for degrees and all of that. Even if you don't have a degree, you should still you can still be educated because there are people who got degrees who are not educated. Um, so I don't think, first of all, a degree signifies that you educated. A degree just look good on a resume. But like Jalen said, do you have common sense? My emphasis is how do you think? Like, how well do you think? What do you value? What is your priorities? Yeah, I know you got on red bottoms, but what kind of credit score do you got? I know you got a good job, but how do you treat people? Like, I think education plays a big part in it, but education shouldn't be the only thing you bring to the table because you don't have to go to school, but are you wise? Do you have common sense? How well do you think? How do you handle being under pressure? All of those things. I think all of those things come into play. with that. So I don't think you have to have a degree, but I do think you should be knowledgeable.
Right.
And then these days, you can go pay $50 to be Doctor So and So.
Mm, you sure can.
So I don't care about your little piece of paper. What's in your head? Does it match that paper? To the sense where you, because wisdom, sorry, knowledge is knowing a thing, but wisdom is knowing how to apply what you know about that thing. And not just that, since we on this subject, ma'am, I don't care about how much money you make either. I don't care. I don't care about how much money. Can you manage the money you make? Do you tie to the Lord first? And then do you manage the rest that you have? Are you just out here buying Birkins and going get your nails and feet done every other week and your silk press, and then you ain't got nothing left at the end of the week to show for it?
Well, she got a bag and her hair and her nails done. That show.
But now you hungry.
And, and here's my question: can you pray through hard times? Can your prayer get off the flow? Can you pray me out of depression? Can you pray me out of suicidal thoughts? Can you pray when I done had a rough day at work? Can you pray for me after I come out of the pulpit? That's my question. Can you pray? We'll deal with everything else later. We got to know that you can pray first.
So you got a degree and no common sense. You got money and no management skills. You look good and ain't got no doggone power.
I'm
Something is not
wrong.
gonna work.
I'm wrong.
Something ain't
So
gonna work.
since you said that, I want to know: does can personality overrule physical attraction?
Yes.
Yeah.
Say that
Yeah.
again. I missed it.
Can personality overrule physical attraction? Because
All day
sometimes
long.
we look at people and be like, how she get with him? Or how
All
he
day
get
long.
with her? So for men, is physical attraction as important as her personality?
No.
That is
Yes,
number one.
but in order, see, I'll say this. In order for me to know the personality, there has to be something on the outside that attracts me. So just just for me, brothers, she can't be downright ugly. Cause I mean,
I agree with you. I
ain't
agree
that
with you, Jackson.
much personality go overrule ugliness. It gotta be something about her on the outside. That's because when you meet a woman, all you know is what you see, right? So
Right.
there has to be something on the outside that attracts me to
Right.
her, right? But then where the personality overrules the physical attraction is when I start talking to her, the physical attraction gets me, but her personality keeps me, if that
So,
makes sense.
Makes
hmm
perfect sense.
So once I get to know, because you can be fine all day, and soon as you start talking, you become ugly.
real ugly.
So once I get to know her beyond her looks, and the conversation is there, the chemistry is there, the vibe is there, the connection is there, then that's when the personality overrules the physical attraction. But it gotta be something on the outside that draws me in.
Right.
Because if it ain't, we ain't gonna get past the looks. That's just me though.
I agree. I totally agree that one will catch and the other will keep. Just at the end of the day, and I think it's a perfect mixture because you can't get so caught up in looks because then you will end up having a type, and when you have a type, the enemy knows what to send your way. not no- but when that when what she looks like intertwines with who she is on the inside, then that's something that's in her DNA.
Ataramasi. You got the Holy Ghost.
And
Say it again, Tahan. Say it
I
again.
no, I truly think that when it's in her DNA, it can't be matched. It's gonna be some that's gonna try to duplicate it, but at the end of the day, they'll never be her.
That's the Holy Ghost. He said, because the enemy will sing you something that looks good, bit matched on your type. Ooh, that's the Holy Ghost.
And from a man standpoint, I mean, we know that the enemy will send us what we like.
Right.
He will do it. Satan, just so you know, I like crown apple.
Lil J. Oh my
I
God.
told I told y'all at the beginning of this, I was a scoundrel. I mean that.
So look at here. Other than prayer, as men of the cloth, what are two other characteristics that you need in a mate, other than her being able to pray?
Drake.
So spirituality, we go list anything spiritual under what anything that relates to the spirit and ministry under spirituality. All right,
Okay.
so prayer, devotional, all that stuff. That's spirituality. All right, fellas. Cause I'm just saying this because I know my big brother Pratt. Um, I, so spirituality, competence, competence, and when I say competence, common sense and problem solving. Like somebody said it earlier. I think it was Jeremiah, maybe. I think, but somebody said, "What does it look like for you under pressure?" Yeah, you have the degree, but what does it look like for you? What does life look like for you under pressure? So if your spouse or your man or whatever is already weighed down and stressed with X, Y, and Z because of life, how do you aid him in that? How do you help him manage it and structure it and build around it or overcome it, whatever it may be? What are you doing to help problem solve in that moment? How competent are you in this moment? Or are you a crash out? And do you just add stress to the situation? Because I know it's a cute saying and it seems to be popular among people, but crashing out is not all right.
No.
It's not. It's not. It is absolutely not all right. And crashing out in the sense of what they use it. I'm not saying that if you've had a mental breakdown, that if you have a mental breakdown, then please go get help. Please reach out and find where you can get help. But to crash out and just be out here stressing people out and making people's life harder because of the way you feel, that's not okay. That's not competence. And so under that competence would also fall under the or under that would fall money management because we brought that up earlier too.
Mhm.
So what are your skills with money? Are you competent with money or are you loose? It's as my grandfather would say, the moment you get something in your pocket, it's burning a hole in there. So that was what two: spirituality, competence, and I'll let one of the other brothers add three because that's really for me. That's my top two.
Okay.
I think
Well,
for
no,
me,
let me back up. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. A third one, you got to be able to love people. You got to be able to love people.
What does that look
I,
like for you?
I don't want nobody out here that's just mean and snooty and stuck up. No, I need you to love. They got this thing that they say, oh, I like for my woman to be a little mean. I like for my man to be a little mean and not be friendly. And well, hell, one that don't look like Jesus, so that means y'all not saved.
Mm.
There's a difference between barriers and boundaries and
Mm.
loving people. I understand having boundaries. I understand having barriers, but you got to love people.
Okay.
I and one of the other brothers can add to whatever they want to, but those are my three.
I think my two will probably be somebody who's independent, because a woman of independence is a woman of identity. So I don't want someone that when we're that you're only strong when we're together, because I wasn't attracted to you when we were together. I was attracted to the independence. So there are some things I don't want you to relinquish now that we are together.
Okay.
No, the second one will be discipline. I think to me, discipline, from financial, praying, fasting, all of that, all is a part of discipline. And if you're with somebody, you're supposed to be a mirror. So I don't want her to be disciplined and me being undisciplined, and vice versa. So for me, discipline and independence.
I would say um, respect. Um, I think the struggle. Let me not use me for example, but I think a struggle amongst um, preachers in particular, or somebody just in leadership, that it can be is not knowing how to balance the two. Um, that if I uncover or let you see my human side, you will still respect me in my leadership role. That I don't want to be afraid of exposing you to who I am as a man, because I'm afraid that you're going to bring up who I am as a man and in private and what I've let you see in a moment where we're having a debate.
The Holy
So
Ghost.
I would say respect. Can you respect me? Can you respect me enough to see my flaws but still honor my calling? That's
That's
something
good.
that is big for me. Can you respect me? If we go somewhere, go eat or whatever, are you gonna bring that up somewhere in public, or you it don't even have to be in public, or you gonna bring that up in a debate or argument or a conversation? I need to know that you're gonna respect my human side just as well as my calling.
I,
That's what it is for me.
yeah, just to piggyback, I think that trumps everything. Can I trust you with my weakness? Will you weaponize my weakness? Will you, whether it's malicious or whether it's just because you like to talk, will you tell people if I cut off my hair, I'm no longer strong?
Mm.
But
The
And so
Holy Ghost.
you
Ooh,
you will be so surprised, because if I'm confiding in you, that's where it's supposed to stop and start, or start and
Right.
stop.
ooh,
So
the Holy Ghost.
even if my human part messes up, you should still have a connection on high that will still keep those weaknesses safeguarded. And I think that entire uh, Samson and Delilah is extremely important, because the scripture said he loved Delilah, flaws and all, he loved her.
Mm.
But stuff that he put in her safe deposit box, it wasn't guarded. And unfortunately, as brothers, sometimes we will have the wrong people safeguarding our strength.
I heard a
Mm.
I heard a
Tahan is saved. He know the Lord. He got the Holy Ghost.
no.
Oh,
I heard a guy. I can't remember who it was. It motivational speaker or somebody like that, and he actually said the same thing. He said, "Women need love, men need respect."
that's it.
And
That's
if
it.
and on this one, if you can't respect me, then you don't love me. That's
That's right.
from you. Is your respect for me. You might be smarter than me, but respect me as the man enough to come to me and say, "Hey, babe, I think bop 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 bop. What do you think?" Because we have to make this decision together.
We're partners. We are a partnership. You
And
know, yeah.
that's I can't agree with. I mean,
I I
I
I do
wanted to
want to
add
be
something to it, but after saying that just sums it up. That's number one, and everything else is 4, 5, 6, and that's just how I see it.
I agree.
I'm about to be devil's advocate for 10 seconds. Because Jeremiah jumped in before I could say something about it, but Tahan said something I don't agree with no more. And y'all brothers, y'all can feel how y'all feel. I respect y'all. I don't want no independent woman. I'm sick of them being independent. Cause y'all independent and out here just being malicious with your independence and strong and I'm tired of this. I
Oh, you want an
want
uncle
me,
tonight, don't you? You want a
want me. This is a mind of a man, sister. Mind of a man, of a man.
oh,
But
you
you
want
know,
an uncle.
everything is good as long as you don't weaponize it. Independence is great as long as you don't weaponize it.
Right, and that's why I said I'm just playing devil's advocate for that's all. But yeah,
So, little brother.
Yeah, you got to be somewhat independent.
So expound. You say you do not want an independent woman, so you would prefer for her to need to come to you for any and everything.
come on.
And how would that tell us how that would make your personal life better? Because maybe that works for you, and for some people, that works. Yeah, expound.
So on a serious note, um, I'm strategic about certain things, and so for me to know something up front, there's a plan for me to either work something out or combat something on the end if the beginning of it is going to lead to a scenario
He's
beginning.
going in and out.
So up front, if I know, what's going on, excuse me, what's going on beforehand and not when it blows up or not when it comes to last minute, I can function better. I'm not a last minute. I'm not a at that moment in your face type of person. Yes, I get it. Some things will happen just off the cuff. Some rainy days just happen. But if it's something that can be prevented, come talk to me. Um, versus just not saying anything, trying to get it done on your own, and then at the midnight hour, or at the hour that Jesus is dead, that's when you want to come and say
Get on my nerves so bad. Um, okay, so
something.
let me take my moderator hat off for just a second. Just a second.
I know what this means.
Oh Lord,
Oh, I'm gonna take my moderator hat off for just a second. Um, so a an independent woman that is functioning properly inside of a covenant marriage, covenant situation, is not going to respond like that. She's not going to bring you a problem in the last hour after Jesus has gone on. Um, the independent part of that is her seeing an issue, but she would have already brought you the issue, because when you're together you function in a form of kind of, you're very should be codependent upon each other, so you should be working together. So she shouldn't be taking everything and trying to work it out and flip it and turn it and fix it and put some, some tape on it to hold it together before she has brought you the issue. That's not how it should work. She should be able to critical think. She should be able to do some things, but as you being the leader, the head, once the issue occurs, it should have already been brought to you. Her being independent doesn't mean that she tries to go and fix it on her completely on her own. The independence part of that is her being able to critically think through an issue and suggest to you, well, hey, this issue has occurred. This is kind of what I think we should do, but what do you think? And then y'all critical think it together. It shouldn't be you bringing it after it's done blown up into a million pieces. So,
Pause. Y'all see why I play devil's advocate? It gets my sister riled up, and she give all
yeah.
these wonderful answers. Women, are you listening? For those of you who are watching, are you
This,
listening?
I'm putting my moderator hat back on now
Please listen.
because I wasn't even supposed to talk. Coach Jay, this really supposed to be your panel. I'm really just supposed to be here for decoration.
And that was it. Just ask the questions and let us answer it. You're absolutely right.
Mm. You
You,
supposed to have some questions too.
I gave my question to you.
No.
No, well, I did. I'm just saying. I actually did.
So, how do you suggest that you should foster community?
Foster community.
Foster community. So,
Yeah, elaborate,
um,
please.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I am about to.
I need a description, a summary,
I'm not giving you all of that, but
a
foster
short
community.
answer.
So well, we're all church people. In church we have different committees and groups and all of that. So, and there's so many things that are happening in the African American community as a whole that some is positive, some is negative. How do you foster positive interactions between other men?
We have to see it. I mean, I'm just going to be 100% honest. Men know when another man is faking, and it's more evident in the church, especially amongst brothers who preach. When you're in a tight community and you're all preaching, we won't say it, but we low key compete with each other. And there's a level of competition, that's there, and we have a stigma where we will say what goes on in our house stays in our house. So if I'm preaching and I'm not living right, I'm not doing something right, or I'm struggling with something, and if I can't trust my brothers to go, if I can't come to Coach Jay and say, hey, you know what, I know I preached last Sunday or whatever, and I have this cussing problem, and when I get home, I just cuss everybody out. As a man, you
That's
need
one
to
of them
have
Baptists.
somebody that you can go to. But look, we are intimidated by each other. I don't care. It don't matter. It doesn't matter what you have, what I see visually, what's tangible. We low key have a spirit of competition, so we kind of be iffy about going to somebody with what we're struggling with.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, can I
It's
say this?
it's crazy how he said that because I had just taught a leadership class this morning, and I was talking about as far as how um when we are saved, sanctified, and filled with the Holy Ghost, and looking at our focus should always be kingdom as leaders. And if we are all leaders and our focus is actually kingdom, he should be able to come to me and say what he's struggling with. And we together as men should be able to say, hey, we gonna fast and pray and we gonna kick this thing in the butt, because you're not being where you supposed to be hinders the movement of the kingdom.
Right.
He might have 500 members. I might have 4 members. That shouldn't matter when kingdom is the focus. We're in competition with each other because we forgot about the focus. The main focal point of our ministry is kingdom. Yeah, some of us get paid for what we do, and we get this big thing for having the most members and da 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 da. That's fine and cool and dandy. But at the end of the day, where is the focus on kingdom? Because us arguing and fighting with each other is not advancing the kingdom like we say, like we teach, and like we preach.
I think I definitely agree with that. I think the focus has to be there. Uh I'll say a couple things on that. The first thing is, um too many of us have this whole mentality, especially when she was speaking on positivity amongst the brothers. Um Too many of us have this um homophobic energy. We have this thing: a man ain't supposed to cry. A brother, one brother give another brother a compliment, you ready to call him gay. We encourage each other. He a little feminine. You start asking other people like, is he a little sweet? Stuff like that. It's funny, but it happens, right? And I think that's the first problem that it is, that brothers can encourage brothers without one being gay or however you want to call it, right? I think that's the first problem. I think the second problem is you discover, um, I believe, a friend and a brother through your personal struggles. Um, every brother ain't meant to be your brother, right? Every brother ain't meant to be your friend. And I've learned that you
Preach, sir.
gotta that you have to be careful who you confide in, who you vent to, and also having the wrong person in your ear while you making decisions or while you going through things or enduring things is the wrong thing to do. And I think you will discover what kind of brother you have when you go through. So I think you have to surround yourself around like-minded people. People who trying to go where you trying to go. People, y'all don't have to think just alike, but y'all ought to be in the same neighborhood, right? So I think that's very, very important to me, that you have to know who you're dealing with. And I think another thing that I see is, um, we give too many people too many chances. You got one time to cross me. One time. You don't get no second chance. You don't get no third chance. No, you cross me one time. That's it. Because I've already took a risk with letting you cross me once. Then I'm gonna give you two more chances. Well, who's to say the second time or the third time it could be a lot worse? So I think it's through endurance, it's through trouble, it's through adversity, it's through what you're going through that you discover what kind of brother you are. And then from there, that's where y'all discover y'all friendship. I never say I have friends. I always say I have proven friends, which means they have proven themselves to be my friend. And it ain't because we didn't got a cup of coffee. It's because we didn't cry together. We didn't suffer together, we didn't struggle together, and we didn't pray together. That's just my input on that.
Yeah, about to see the biggest competitions amongst brethrens April 18th, 2025 at the 9 a.m., 12 p.m., and 6 p.m. hours. If you don't know what that day is, go ahead and look
Totally,
at your calendar.
totally agree.
Oh yeah, yeah. Good Friday. Yep.
About to see the biggest competitions. But on that line of all of that, me and my pastor, excuse me, was having a conversation earlier. Not earlier, yesterday. And we were talking about that many of the in the churches in the areas we pastor and the pastors that surround us, many of them do church well. We know church, but we don't know. Somebody used the word kingdom earlier. We don't know kingdom. We don't know how to go out and cultivate and build and grow and expand and share. Um, just as an example, and I can say it because he's brought it up. Um, my pastor has kind of been in partnership with his pastor in doing certain things. So his pastor he's the founder of his church, but he's also planted some other campus locations. And one of the campus locations is maybe 10 minutes from my house, maybe 30 minutes from my pastor's church. But at any rate, because they're doing the work in the community, that location has been seeing between 50 and 60 children on a Wednesday night and on a Sunday morning. I'm sorry, on a Thursday night and on a Sunday morning. And so they didn't have enough transportation to get the kids to the church one Sunday. And so I'm just saying my grandfather, because that's what I call him. My grandfather asked my pastor if he could use his van to um, be able to pick up children for Sunday morning. My pastor says yes. So they came and picked up the van the Saturday before that Sunday service, and one of the brothers, one of the deacons at my pastor's church had an issue with it. Now I just got that van serviced, and he go let somebody go and take it, and da da da. First of all, the van's just sitting there; it's not doing anything. It ain't picking up nobody on Sundays. Everybody drives to St. John. What's the problem? Secondly, yeah, you may have just gotten a service or gotten the oil change or whatever, but you ain't do it out of your own pocket. You did it with the church's money. So what's the problem? But saying all of that to say, because we've never seen it and because we've never seen it or we've never been a part of it, we don't know how to cultivate it. We don't know how to build healthy communities of men because we can't even build healthy communities in churches. We can't build healthy communities in homes. And so how do you expect men to build healthy communities and we ain't never saw it? But I mean it gotta start somewhere. You gotta start. And um I'll be the outlier. I'll be the difference. I don't mind being the loner to be better. If me being better is a problem, then that means your thinking is too low.
Okay. Okay. Anybody else? Okay. As we draw to a close, I want each of you to give your 16-year-old self some encouragement. What would that be?
I'll go. Um, my 16-year-old self. Um, don't grow up so fast. Um, don't be in a hurry to be grown so fast. Um, Watch who you call friends. Um, Watch how you treat people. Um, and also, for everything you can do good, somebody can do better. Never get to a point where you think you the only one who can do what you can do. So I would tell my 16-year-old self, cut the arrogance, be humble. That's what I would tell my 16-year-old self.
Brother Carter.
For me, it's just gonna be simple. Learn how to speak up. Just point blank. I've been very silently aggressive all my life, so I would just shut up and just go, and just sometimes shutting up and go produces bitterness, and so I would not ask out of that bitterness. So for me, it would just be speak your mind, learn how to speak it in love, and just keep on going.
Okay. That's good. Pratt.
I would say believe in yourself. Believe in yourself and trust the God that your parents instilled in you.
Okay. Lil J on the track.
You funny. 16. 16. 16. Um,
Boy, this is not Jeopardy. Everybody else
I,
had to say
I'm sorry.
you was just 16 2 days ago, boy. What you gonna say yourself?
I'm so sick of him. I'm so sick
Oh
of
my
him.
God.
That rough
Uh,
ain't long.
Babe, I mean, it ain't been that many years ago. What you want to tell yourself?
it was 15 years ago, but whatever.
It ain't that
Um,
long compared to anybody else on here.
some of y'all, you're right. You're right. Some of y'all is old. Jonathan, don't settle and push beyond your limits. Um, don't be put in the box just because you grew up around it.
Mm,
Doesn't mean you have to limit what God has put in you to please everyone else.
okay.
And I'm saying that now because I'm fighting to get out giftings that I have that God been put in me. Um, Walking in certain things, but because I've been Baptist so long, and Baptists don't do that, and I've settled for certain things. Now I'm fighting it. So don't settle and push beyond your limits.
Okay. Coach J.
I'm gonna be like Mr. Carter. Everything everybody said. It's funny. I mean, what everything everybody said is how what I would tell my 16-year-old self. Don't settle. Stay humble. Speak up. Just because they don't believe in you, you need to believe in you. And everything that God has put in you, He put in you just for you to do exactly what He has called you to do. So when it's that time, go do it. Don't settle. I've been paid the background for so long, and I've seen a lot of stuff. It's bro, go. If kicking and screaming, go. Even if you don't believe it, when you go, if it's in your heart to do it, go. At least you can say you did it. You tried. Because a lot of people died not trying.
Mm, okay. I want to thank you, gentlemen, for your openness and transparency and honesty on this evening. This has been You, Me, and the Trinity's Christ Connections and Conversations. We hope you enjoyed. We love you, and we'll see you next time.
I
Good
won't be
night.
sick next time. I promise.
Well, but you can't help you will see. It's okay. We're glad you better and was able to get out the bed. Good night.
All right.